500,000 views. 500,000 views. I know it's just a number, but it isn't, is it? That's 500,000 times that somebody has clicked play on a video on my channel and watched it long enough for it to count as a view. And then, you know, so many times people have hit the like button and put comments and replied to comments and joined in the community and joined the Discord. It's 500,000 interactions, isn't it? Interfaces in the community. And I love that. And what an honor and a privilege that people have wanted to watch my stuff 500,000 times. I'm very humbled. I'm very grateful. I appreciate every one of you. Every single click, every watch, every comment, every like. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Hello, I am Carl, the real Disco Doc. For those that are new to my channel, this is a bit of a random video to drop in on, so I'll better explain. When I started my channel 2 years ago now, I was coming towards the end of studying to be a counsellor, therapist in the UK. And a few months before, I'd heard Hi Ren and been completely blown away and dived down the Ren rabbit hole. And I wanted to start filming reactions. There weren't loads of reaction channels out at the time reacting to Ren. But because I was because I was about to be qualified as a counsellor and start a counselling career, in addition to my existing software career, I felt like that when I was trying to record videos, it was coming across as very stilted because I was holding myself back. There was so much that I wanted to say in terms of humour and sometimes inappropriate jokes and things, and it didn't seem right. So I created this AI character, Disco Doc, based on an image of Freud. And for the first year and a half, sort of hid behind that character. And the channel grew and people seemed to like it. They liked the humour, they liked the reactions, they liked the research that I did into the different songs and artists. All of that was setting me apart from other reaction channels. But eventually it just became too much. It became too exhausting. There were rumours and speculation as to my identity. Was I Ren himself? Was I part of Ren's team? Was I one of these other independent UK artists, musicians? And I knew, of course, that I was just me. I was just Carl. So just after I'd announced the face reveal was going to happen, before it had happened, I set up a thread in my wonderful Discord community for AMA, Ask Me Anything. And the questions have been mounting up ever since. And I said I'd get a video out, I think at the end of January originally. And for one reason or another, I just haven't got to it, haven't got there. So here we go. I'm going to go through the questions on the Discord and answer as many of them as I can. It feels only fitting to start with questions about Ren.
When and how did you first hear about Ren?
So, when and how did I first hear about Ren? It was my meditation teacher at the time. He's an excellent meditation teacher who tends to use the material of Adyashanti, and he's also a yoga teacher called Rowan. And he just shared on Facebook a link to Hi Ren 3 days, I think it was 3 days after Hi Ren came out. And that, as far as I know, that was the first that I'd heard of Ren, and it just absolutely sideswiped me. I heard it once, took my breath away, and then I got it up on the TV, on the big screen, and played it to Mrs. Doc, and she was equally blown away by it. And the rest, as they say, is history. And then I just fell down the rabbit hole and couldn't stop listening to Ren.
Do you prefer guitar-based Ren or rap Ren?
Do I prefer guitar-based Ren or rap Ren? Honestly, it'll sound like a cop-out, but it's both. And the reason is it's actually the combination. It's the fact that he can do both so well. It's fucking annoying. In fact, not only is he an incredible musician in terms of the instruments he plays, and he's got a great singing voice, and he can rap really well, up there with the best of them in my opinion. But of course, his penmanship, the lyrics, the double, triple, quadruple meaning, layers of meanings, and the way that he packs and condenses so much clever stuff into just one line, just a few lines. It's that whole package, isn't it? I've never seen anything like it. I'm not sure I will ever see anything like it again. I still think he's hugely underrated. He's had a #1 UK album, but let's face it, that was, you know, a lot to do with the Renegades supporting him and buying multiple copies each to try and beat the system, because the system is shit and needs to be beat. But he's still not being played on the radio, and that feels like a huge injustice to me, given that, in my opinion, he is the talent of multiple generations.
How did you gather the background information for your Mackay reaction?
How did I gather the background info for my Mackay reaction? I know that track of Ren's is particularly touching, and my reaction to it, a lot of people said, brought them to tears in a whole new way. But I didn't have access to any inside information. I never have done. It was all publicly available through Google searches, and I just tied it all together. And that's one of the things that I'm missing at the moment. Since the face reveal, I'm trying to figure out, how do I have the best of both worlds? How do I sit and appear in front of the camera and look at you and talk to you in this way, but still incorporate some of those other things that set me apart, like the humor from the AI characters and all the research that I did, the dot joining that I did, however tenuous. And I haven't quite figured that out yet, have I? Let's be honest. But we're just a few months in. And I have put out some reactions with Doc, some new reactions with Doc, a couple, and some extra little features and things in terms of the humour and the fun word games and all that good stuff, but not as much as I would have liked. And we've got Fire in Doc's booth coming up, of course. I can't share any snippets of the tracks that have come in from the contestants yet because they haven't been judged. Basically, all of round one is submitted, has been submitted. I've created the lyric videos and sent them off to the judges. Round two, we're pretty much there with those as well. The judges are planning, based upon their schedules and things they've got going on themselves, the judges are planning to start judging as of, I think, the 10th of May. Let me just look at a calendar. Yeah, so not this week that we've got coming up, Sunday today for me, Sunday the 4th, but the following one, round about then, 10th, 12th, something like that, they're going to start judging. The artists, the contestants, have been given the beat for round 3 and have the whole of May to record that, because it's a longer track, it's 3 minutes. So I would hope that we're going to be getting Fire in Doc's booth out in June, but there is the possibility that round 1 will come before that, and then round 2 maybe early June, and then round 3 end of June. We'll have to see how it all goes, but it's all in progress, it's all good. What I can share now as a bit of an exclusive is the round descriptions for the 3 rounds and a little sneak preview.
All 3 beats this year have been donated by Vexo. Big up Vexo, thanks for everything you do for the Ren community.
Round 1, in the beginning, Origins. Roughly a 1-minute beat. This round is all about the contestants' origins, their humble beginnings, the spark that set them on their creative paths, and the stories that shaped who they are. Each lyric is a window into their roots, exploring their inspirations, struggles, and defining moments. It's an introduction to their identity, weaving personal history with cosmic metaphors to connect their journey to the larger narrative. This is where they plant their flag in the Reniverse. Round 2, Through the Chaos, roughly a 2-minute beat. This round dives into the challenges and chaos the contestants have faced on their journey. It's a raw and powerful exploration of the struggles that tested their resolve, moments of doubt, failure and fear, but also resilience and grit. Their lyrics should bring their storm to life, showing how they battled through adversity to emerge stronger. This is the proving ground where their stories gain depth and momentum. The final round is about the contestants stepping fully into their potential and claiming their place in the Reniverse. It's the culmination of their journey where they break free from their limitations and embrace their unique creative identity. The lyrics reflect triumph, growth, and the bold leap forward into a limitless future. This is their victory lap, showcasing not just where they've been, but where they're going. They should also nod to the music of Ren Gill and the Renegades, how he has inspired them in their own personal and musical journey. Big up to Vexo, our boy Vexo, for donating the beats. What a legend. And they are sick.
Respect too to our judges, Vibe reactions, Brain Squeeze reactions, and Crow reactions. And to our contestants, Becca D, Snake Venom V, Drink the Kool-Aid, Kin Dotter, Mr. Composition, and Vic Start.
All Ren reactors and well-known people from the Reniverse who also rap. Bring it. From what I've heard so far, it's gonna be proper. The fire is lit.
Back to the questions. Did you ever cuddle, Ren?
The last question about Ren was, did you ever cuddle Ren? Yes, I did. I've mentioned it a couple of times now since the reveal when I was at Secret Garden Party. Sometime after Ren's set, we were sat on a grassy hill, Knox and Vic behind us and others, and Shay, spent a lot of time with Shay. And Ren came and plonked himself down next to me. Not sure whether he knew who I was at that point. Obviously I'd met his team. And I introduced myself and he said it was so good to put a face to the name. And we did have a bit of a cuddle. We sat with our arms around each other, little bit of a cheeky cuddle. And then we chatted a little bit about his set and how it went, things that he wasn't so happy with. And a few other bits and pieces. I'll cherish that conversation, even though it was just a few minutes. I'll cherish it. I didn't want to take up too much of his time. I was cognizant that, you know, he was exhausted. It had taken everything out of him, and everywhere he went, people naturally wanted to speak to him. So I didn't want to take up too much, but it felt like a real connection. It felt like a real lovely moment.
How did he feel after the face reveal?
How did I feel after the face reveal? It was just a relief, to be honest. You know, the pressure in my mind had been building and building for a few months, and I couldn't do anymore. I couldn't carry on the way I was anymore. So it was just a relief. It was terrifying beforehand, the thought of showing my face. You know, I've said before, I don't like the way I look and sound on camera. I knew also that the face reveal itself, I was very, very nervous, very tense, and you could see that all the way through. And I knew that the first few reactions were going to be like that too, and sure enough, they really were. slowly starting to get more relaxed and confident in front of the camera. Still can't get my IT stuff, my hardware sorted. And the main reason for that is because I don't have a dedicated place in my house that I can kit out as a studio. It's a family home. It's a noisy family home, which is great. It's joyous. I've got 2 young kids, wouldn't change it for the world. But it's not like I've got a basement that I can get kitted out with all sound and lights and everything set up permanently, for example. So I hop around the house from room to room and set stuff up, and it always goes wrong. Sometimes, different tech issues, microphones, lighting, green screens, batteries dying, all the time. And what that means, unfortunately, is if I'm able to carve an hour out of my busy schedule to do some recording, I end up wasting at least a third of it with just kit and stuff. So need to try and figure that one out, really.
What type of content do you plan to react to going forward?
Next one's about what type of content do I plan to react to. We've had a few months since the face reveal, so you can see that I'm starting to expand to other artists, and I'm really loving that. Really loving discovering music that is new to me. And it's funny, people assume that just because they love an artist that the rest of the world must have heard of them. I get that with Nightwish and Dimash all the time, fans saying, how can you never have heard of them up till this point? You're 42 years old, for goodness sake. But I could say the same about many artists that you probably haven't heard of as well. It's just we get caught in our own echo chambers, don't we, with social media and everything else just reinforcing our likes and dislikes, the messages that we sort of want to hear. If time and money were no objects, I would be spending a lot more time on the mental health side of the channel, raising awareness, raising funds. For example, I'll put a link to the Instagram, a video on Instagram that came up this morning, and it started off with some clunky little rap about Andrew Tate. But that was just a hook to get people in, because then the chap started talking, addressing the camera and talking directly about boys and young men's mental health, about what does it really mean when we talk about masculinity, and basically how to be a real man and not the Andrew Tate style, because that isn't a real man at all. I would love to do more stuff like like that, around domestic abuse and suicide and mental health and things that have touched me during my life, but it's finding the time. I would love to spend more time reacting to independent artists such as Victus and Liv Sangster, and there's a huge list that I've never even been able to get to, never scratched the surface, but again, it's finding the time. And then the bigger artists as well. It excites me to think that there's artists with tens of millions of followers that I actually haven't ever heard. That's pretty cool, and I'd love to get onto them as well.
Will you do more deep dive documentaries?
Well, I do more deep dive stuff, like the documentary into psychedelics. I really enjoyed those few documentaries that I did with Disco Doc, documentary, into things like psychedelics, things that interest me, and different musical subgenres and so on. The problem is, much as I enjoyed doing the research and the creative process of creating them, and perhaps that's, that is that's the means to the end, the destination is in the journey and all of that, perhaps. However, to do something that takes weeks or months to put together, and it only gets 300 or 400 views, that's not to knock the 300 or 400 people who have sat and watched it, because I'm grateful to every single one. But equally, if you pour your heart and soul and passion into something, you want as many people to see it as possible. I think is that validation? Is that just a need for external validation, numbers and things, or is it just common sense? You create something because you want to share it, you want people to see it. And those sorts of things just didn't ever gain any traction in search results and such. But I think it's because it was with the AI character, and there's been a push in YouTube towards more human content as people get a bit jaded with the whole AI thing, potentially.
Would you ever do any other media breakdowns?
Would I ever do any other media breakdowns, TV, books, etc.? Yeah, that's an interesting one. I've never really considered it. Don't watch loads of TV sometimes. I enjoy films that really make you think, but I wouldn't consider myself, a movie geek, a film nerd. Books, possibly a little bit more likely. Oh, and that reminds me, there was another question about which 2 books did you write? The first that I wrote I wrote them under a pseudonym, Seb Constable. The first that I wrote was called Boom, You Got That Graduate Job. And it only sold a handful of copies. It was a long time ago, and you couldn't just get AI to write you a book. It actually had to come out of your head, And the other one was a children's book.
Let's Go and Find a Dragon.
Which was a cute little book, actually. I liked that very much. So nothing like the sort of wild speculations that you filthy people have been guessing.
What are your criteria for picking songs?
What are your criteria for picking songs? The first thing to say is that if I've realised that I've heard a song, then I'll just say so. I'll always be really honest and just say so. And then choose to continue reacting to it or not. The second thing is, my channel is a space for positivity, for supporting each other, for lifting each other up, for getting a little jolt of joy into your day. And therefore, I'm not a critic, and if I come across an artist that a lot of people are reacting to, or I've been asked to react to, and it's just not my vibe, I'm not into it at all, then I'm not going to continue with that. I'm not going to continue filming that reaction. I'm not going to put it out. That's not for me. And what that means is that if you see a reaction on my channel, then it's genuine. My reaction to it is genuine. I like it for the reasons that I say that I like it. And that's it, really. Of course, the therapist lens, being a practicing counsellor, means that I might gravitate towards certain types of artist or song. But I'm trying to approach this with as much of an open mind as possible. And really the only limiting factor is time. If I could spend all day, every day reacting to all sorts of stuff to figure out what I liked and what I didn't, then I would do that for sure. There's an endless well of interesting stuff out there that I'd love to look at. I'm happy to have a mix of monetizable and non-monetizable reactions on my channel, content on my channel. But like yesterday, for example, I reacted to Ed Sheeran for the first time, and it got globally blocked. And actually I was able to figure out that by going back and obscuring the music video, the lyric video that had been put out, but leaving the audio, then it still wasn't monetizable, of course, because it's Ed Sheeran, but it was allowed to go out. So it's just more of a practical concern rather than shaping the songs that I would choose to react to necessarily. I like to have a good mix. And big up to artists like Ren, who allow reactors to monetize their reactions to his songs, because it's still very much the rarity, and yet look how successful he's able to make it, to use it as part of his marketing endeavors, and to give back. Incredible, absolutely incredible. And all of the reactors really appreciate Ren, his policy on that, and the renegades, the renegade community, for all of their support with reactors, many of whom had never seen a music reaction before watching one to High Ren, for example. So it's pretty cool. I think it's win, win, win.
Do you prefer being called Doc or Carl?
Do I prefer being called Doc or Carl? Well, I've been called much worse than most. I've been called much worse than both of those things over the years. I don't know. I don't mind. really. My name is Carl, but equally, Disco Doc is Carl and Carl is Disco Doc, I suppose. Sort of an alter ego, isn't it? I like it when people like Hector, I'm talking to Hector in an interview, a podcast type thing, and he calls me Disco. I always think that's quite fun. Just because I've never been called Disco before in my life, I suppose. Honestly, I'll answer to most anything.
Is your middle name Barry or Richard?
Is my middle name Barry or Richard? I don't have a middle name. I've always wanted one. I've always felt sort of hard done by that I haven't got one. So much so that when I was at college, I was given a middle name by a group of friends, which was Copernicus. I think Copernicus was the dude that first proposed that the planets revolved around the sun rather than the other way around, rather than everything revolving around Earth. Is that right? So Carl Copernicus. I quite like it. It's quite catchy.
Are you planning to practice counselling or just integrate it into your channel?
Counselling. Am I planning to practice or just integrate it? Yes, I am a qualified practicing counsellor, and I have a bunch of clients, a mixture of online and telephone and face-to-face clients. Basically, I work as a software consultant during the day, and by night I'm Batman. No, by night in the evening I do counselling work. I'm a counsellor, and which I love very, very much. I used to work in social care management, working with adults with a learning difficulty. And then when I transitioned to a software career, I missed that element of giving back. So that's why I retrained as a counsellor, and I love it very, very much. And then of course there's the YouTube side of things, and I'm also putting together a course for counsellors who want to diversify their income as well, use their skills to create content for YouTube, to create courses themselves. There's lots of different ways that counsellors and those in caring professions can create a second income, which is often much needed. So I'm working on that as well. And that initiative is going to be called Beyond Therapy.
Did you realise that the Discord community would become such a special place?
Did you realise that the Discord community was going to become such a special place? No, of course I didn't. I created it because I wanted a space where people could talk about the videos, primarily to begin with, outside of YouTube. So the YouTube comments were always great, and in the beginning I answered the comments, replied to the comments in the voice of Disco Doc, essentially, very sarcastic, very rude, which people loved as well. They used to say that the real gold is in the comments. The videos are good, but the real gold is in the comments. And I wanted to extend that in a way where we could have real-time conversations. But I didn't know or expect it to turn into such an incredible, safe space for so many. Like any space where you get lots of different people together from all over the world, sometimes there can be rocky times as well, but the members are there to support each other. And it's a beautiful, beautiful space. It really is.
What does Mrs. Doc think about all this?
What does Mrs. Doc think about all this? That's a good question. She just lets me get on with it, in all honesty. She's got her hobbies and interests, her second jobs and third jobs, things that she does because she's passionate about them and loves them, and I guess we just support each other.
What technology do you use to create your videos and organise your life?
So I use Talking Heads to animate Disco Doc, just upload a photo, and then either some audio or some text to speech, and it creates your animated video. It's great for anonymity, humour, if you don't feel like facing the camera that day, just to share some stuff with your friends. 11 Labs, AI, voice generation, voice cloning, and so on. So you can upload some recordings of your own voice, and then it clones your voice, and then you can just text to type and it will come out sounding like you, which is pretty magical. But also it's got a voice changer, so you can record yourself with your own natural cadence and rhythm and inflections and personality. And then you can see how that sounds, but with different voices overlaid. Very, very clever stuff. Just like the questions in this Q&A, this whole Q&A is basically me talking to myself. Just like when I did the face reveal and it was Doc interviewing me talking to myself in a different way through the power of technology. I use a product called Brick. It's a physical device. It's basically a smart fridge magnet. Sticks on the fridge, and then it uses the chip in your phone to scan it as if you were paying for something. But it will block all the apps that you choose to block, or release all the apps that you wish to use. But you actually have to go to that physical device to unlock your phone, which makes it so much better than just the inbuilt screen time stuff. But that really helps me to be productive, to stop doom scrolling, to step away from social media when it makes sense and focus on creating content or doing the day job or focusing on counseling clients. Absolutely invaluable. And Sintra is a new one to me. I've used ChatGPT and Claude in different ways. Sintra reorganizes the way that you interact with AI by essentially creating a series of employees that focus on your business and have specialist skill sets such as marketing, for example, or business development, or whatever it might be. It creates an AI team for you. And that's no different really to creating agents or custom GPTs in the existing tools. Apart from what I really, really love about it is each day when you open the app, it says, here's a list of suggested tasks. And that list gets refined as it learns more about you and your business or your business idea. And you just say, yeah, I approve that task. No, not interested in that one. Yeah, that one sounds good. No. And you work your way through, and then the AI agents scurry off and do those tasks, and then the results appear in your inbox. So that's the main use that I've found for it so far. It keeps me accountable. It keeps me focused on task and has given me so many ideas, so many business ideas that I'd never thought of before. And for me, that makes it worth the subscription alone. I've included affiliate links for all of those in the description, including discounts where they're available as well. So if you create content or need a bit of help with the day job or whatever it might be, have a look, check them out. I can't thank you enough. Honestly, I appreciate every single one of you. Keep talking to me in the comments, keep talking to me on Discord, keep the conversation going, keep supporting each other. And I'll see you when we hit 1 million views. I'm Carl, the Real Disco Doc, for now. Peace.